What is lecture capture?
Lecture capture is basically a recorded lecture.
The teacher does their lecture like any other day.
That's accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week online at the student's convenience.
A lecture that is taught on a physical campus to be broadcast on the internet.
So you have the convenience to stay home and watch it or watch it from any computer lab as well as attend the course.
A 2008 study conducted by the E-Business Institute at the University of Wisconsin-Madison revealed some interesting findings regarding online lecture captured classes. Of some 2,500 undergraduate respondents, 93% felt it was helpful when they had missed a class. 79% found the on-demand viewing feature convenient. 78% stated it improved retention of class material, and 76% reported improved test scores. Do these numbers reflect the sentiment at UCF?
I have taken 6 classes using the lecture capture system here.
I'll take probably 2 or 3 a semester if I can.
I have taken lecture capture courses before. Those 2 classes were managerial accounting and the principles of marketing.
I definitely like the lecture capture better than the face-to-face, the traditional classes, simply because if I miss class one day and it's the traditional classes, I miss everything. I miss everything that went on in class.
I prefer lecture capture over the face-to-face because they still operate as a face-to-face class, except you can watch them online as well, so it's like that extra component.
I much prefer the lecture capture courses as they provided me with an easy way to review lecture materials at my leisure anytime I needed some extra briefing before an exam or to review things that I may have missed the first time in class.
I personally prefer face-to-face, just so it ensures that you're going to get that material. You don't have as many distractions, like doing things around your apartment or searching other websites online. You're there and you're more able to focus in person.
I prefer them both for different classes. The lecture captures I prefer for more general education or introduction classes where it's basically just foundation, and then I enjoy traditional face-to-face classes for my major courses.
Me personally, when I'm watching something at home, I feel extremely comfortable, so I can have the TV on, I might be on Facebook or checking my email. And if I'm not particularly interested in the material, I will find other things to do. I will start cleaning, I will do anything besides try to focus on the material. So being in class, you obviously can't do those things, so you have no choice but to focus.
I like to access the lecture capture classes at home, in bed, at work, on campus if I'm not doing anything.
The only place I've ever actually accessed a lecture capture course was from my apartment.
I usually like to go to the library or one of the labs on campus and pull it up because it makes me feel like I'm kind of in class even though I'm not.
I like to access my lecture capture classes at home or at work where I have the capability of do that.
There is a lot of interaction, so I actually feel like I get more out of attending the course versus watching it online because you are able to interact and get questions answered.
Yes, I have attended the actual lectures, and it was great to be able to get the information the first time and be able to ask questions from the professor if necessary and receive an instant feedback, but then also to be able to rewatch the lectures at a later time.
I've never attended a lecture capture class in person. I just didn't feel like I needed to. I always have the lecture there to refer back to online.
The benefits of lecture capture for me is that they have a lot of flexibility. So if I have to miss class for illness or any other reason, I know that I can go back and watch that lecture and not be behind on the material.
The benefits for me for the lecture capture classes is more the convenience. I have a very busy schedule with 2 jobs and an internship this semester, so being able to access it when I have the time instead of being a set schedule.
This morning is a perfect example. I had two lecture capture classes and I didn't have to go to them because I was still at home, and now I can watch them later on today.
I really feel like the face-to-face interaction is what's key, and I'm really biased towards them. And I do like the flexibility of having both as options, and I think that's the ideal combination, having an online portion and an in-person portion so that you know that you have the availability to all the materials.
The lecture capture classes, I would say they're easier because I always have the lecture to refer back to. So when I do study, I have the full lecture to go from, as opposed to just my notes from, you know, a traditional face-to-face class.
Lecture capture classes are usually a little easier because they have multiple forms of media in them. Like the class will be sort of online anyway because he's got the lectures online. And so they'll have documents for the class online, and you just kind of go online and it's a one-stop deal.
Using the lecture capture system definitely helped improve my grades because I was able to have even more resources to turn to when studying, therefore resulting in better performance.
So I do feel like it's easier for me to study, and therefore I get better grades in the lecture capture classes.
The challenges of taking a lecture capture class are really discipline, staying focused, especially if you're watching the component online or from the comfort of your home.
You have to be organized, and you cannot procrastinate. I mean, those lectures will pile up, and if you decide to wait till right before a test to watch them, you'll be sitting there for hours.
Once they pile up on you, you're going to have to watch 3 or 4 classes to catch yourself up, and that can be daunting.
The main challenges I faced were being able to be self-motivated. Because of the lack of having a specific time frame to meet in class, it's up to the student to make sure that they're viewing the materials on a regular basis and staying up with the pace of the course.
There's certain professors that they realize the fact that they have students watching them online, and so they refer to that. They refer back to that, you know, constantly, and they'll make sure that the students that are watching via online know exactly what's going on in the class. You know, they'll repeat the questions that the students ask in class, or they'll make sure that, you know, they'll explain the examples more, or they'll, you know, things like that.
I would say the main improvements would just be more classes. I think that after having taken lecture capture classes, having to go back to traditional classes seems like something's missing.
In terms of improvements to lecture capture courses, I'd really like to see where you are able to attend the session in class, and you're also able to watch it online. I just feel like that does provide the best reinforcement.
I would love to see more lecture capture classes. There's so many classes that I'm just like, if I could just sit at home and do this, I feel like I'd be more productive as opposed to sitting here falling asleep in class. You know, if I could do it at my own convenience, I feel like I'd enjoy it more.
But I really feel like, especially if you're not as disciplined, it is really hard to capture the material online when you do have a lot of other distractions versus being in person. I just think there's more of a genuine delivery in person.
I think they're a good idea for general education and foundation classes, but for me personally with my major, I would not want them for my major classes because there's a lot of group work. I'm currently in a lecture capture class, and there is a group project, and to me it seems kind of like an oxymoron because it's supposed to be an independent kind of style doing a lecture capture, but now we have to try to get in contact to students we never see.
I would like to see more lecture capture classes because they offer that freedom of, you know, catching it later on if you need to, or still going to the class, but also reviewing the class if you miss something.